Film and TV are great, except when they're not. Here are my 3 least favorite film, TV type tropes. Now, if you don't agree with me, then that's your opinion and I respect you for it, but you're wrong. Number 3 when it comes to movies is movies that won't end. You know, when the big part of the plot is over, but it keeps going and going, another scene, when the resolution has already happened and you're like, what are we doing here? What are we resolving here? We're stretching to a runtime of 2 hours and 11 minutes when this could have been an hour and 45-minute film. An example of not doing this is the film 12 Angry Men. Now, I'm picturing the 12 Angry Men where after the court case ends, everyone goes about their day, Henry Fonda goes to a coffee shop, blah, blah, blah. No, none of that. As soon as the court scene's over, they walk out, that's it. It's done. It's perfect. Number 2, which I think applies to both movies and TV shows, is Part 1 and Part 2s, where the Part 1 is nothing but setup for Part 2. In my opinion, your Part 1 should be a standalone thing on its own that can also supplement and help the Part 2. Now, if you're just making it for a Part 1 as purely as a cliffhanger type thing, it makes me completely uninterested, especially if a lot of the runtime is padded scenes of long, unnecessary dialogue. It doesn't push the plot forward, the characters forward. It's just stalling for time to reach the quota, whether it's 2 hours or 50 minutes, depending if it's a TV show or movie. I just completely lose all interest for the Part 2. Like, I don't care, because you just wasted my time in Part 1. Have a story in your Part 1, and have your story in a Part 2. Have those connecting narratives, but each one needs their separate narrative that has a bit of a resolution in that episode or film. Otherwise, I just feel like I was cheaped out when I could have just waited and saw the second one and the first one together. Why would I have seen the first one? And number 1, my least favorite of all, us, the audience, being ahead of the characters. It is my least favorite trope. It drives me nuts. There's no tension. I know some people like dramatic irony, but I just can't stand it. Like, people like the Exorcist film, they feel the terror. It's like, oh, it's so scary to watch them not know what's going on. Well, it's not scary for me, because I know that she's possessed. The film's called The Exorcist. A better example, I think, of telling that story is The Exorcist 3, where we don't know who this killer is, and we're going along with that ride with the detective. It's like, who could this possibly be? But if we know, it sucks all the air out of the wind, especially when the characters are trying to figure it out. Like in the most recent film, Nosferatu, we spend so much time. They're figuring out why people are dying, why the plague's happening. It's like, that's like a 2-hour plus movie. It could have been an hour 50. There's no wind in the sails when we already know the problem. Have that scene where they figure it out, but don't have it take the 45 minutes of the movie. It's just unnecessary. It's just padding that time. It's not needed. Take the audience on a roller coaster. It's fun seeing the characters go through the roller coaster, but take us on the roller coaster with you. Don't be too mad at me.